Hi guys! Car seat safety is super important. Motor vehicle accidents are the #1 killer of kids, but if car seats are used and installed correctly, death and injury in infants goes down by 70%. However, studies show that 70% of car seats are installed incorrectly. Now us as nurses, we see these kids, we see these families. 98% of babies born in America are born in hospitals under our care. So if we all get on the same page about car seat teaching and giving correct information, we can seriously help these families. So car seats are all different and they all kind of beep, and it's difficult to install any of them, and there's so many things on the market that I decided I'm gonna go into Target looking like this because this is commitment. I want you guys to know what's out there, and hopefully no one will kick me out. Alright, we have arrived at car seat mecca of Target. These registration cards come on all new car seats. Tell your families to fill it out and send it, because that way, if there's any recalls, they're automatically taken care of and they'll go ahead and send you the new part, like, automatically. No! These things, this clearly does not come with any car seat. It's real squishy, if you can see it. Like, there's no regulation for this. If you see this in a car seat, it clearly didn't come with a car seat. Tell them to get rid of it. Blech. And this is a perfect example of an aftermarket product. This thing people put on the back seats of their car, but they're not crash tested, and in a crash it can pop off, whack that baby in the face. Look at, he's smiling now, but not after this thing whacks him in the face. If you see this in a parent's car, tell them, like, get rid of it. This is a good example of something that's okay. It goes over the kid, not under him, not between him and the car seat. This guy's okay. All right, so far so good. I don't think anyone's suspicious yet. So the first thing I do when I'm doing car seat teaching with my parents is take a look at the side information panel. That's in Spanish. The side information panel is going to tell us the weight that you can safely have the kid at. This is a 4-pound car seat, so it's good between 4 pounds and 30 pounds, or less than 30 inches. Now, if they have a 4-pound baby and a 5-pound car seat, you're going to want to let them know that it's not an appropriate car seat for them to use. They can either go borrow one from someone that they know has never been in a crash before, the car seat's never been in a crash before, or they have to go out and buy a new one. If they refuse and they want to take the risk and put their little dinky 4-pounder in a 5-pound car seat, there is a waiver that they can sign that says that despite the teaching, they still are choosing to transport their kid in an inappropriate car seat. Then we're going to check the expiration date. And sometimes you kind of got to hunt around for it. Here it is. Here's our expert. Well, no, this is a manufacture date. Sometimes they just have a manufacture date. And 8 years after the manufacture date is when the car seat's expired. And what expires about the car seat is the plastic. They can't guarantee that the plastic can withstand a crash after 8 years. I'm going to want to look at the overall look of the car seat. Is it new? Is it clean? If it's dirty, it's clearly been used before, and you're going to want to ask, when did they get it? Who did they get it from? Has it ever been in a crash? We want our baby's shoulders to be at, or the straps to be at or below shoulder level. You want to tell your parents to wait till their kids' shoulders are solidly at the next level before they move their straps up. And I like to go over how to do that exactly, because it's not obvious how to change the strap level. So I'll flip it over. You're going to undo them, flip it back over. Make sure that they're not, make sure that they're not twisted, and you're going to put them in whatever level you want them to be at. Now, they look like they're going through here, but when you want to flip it over again and make sure that it's in the same corresponding holes. I can't tell you how many times I flipped this over and this one's up here, this one's down here, baby's nowhere. Again, you don't want them twisted, and then you can rehook them. So this is one of those car seats that it's not clear where the button is to loosen the strap. You will want to reach in there and hold it down in order to increase the strap length. This is kind of nice because we have 2 levels for this buckle as the kid grows. So a lot of the car seats that we see are just a standard length, and those ones you can put a blanket roll between the baby's legs to help boost his little bottom up. But otherwise, you can flip this over and make it bigger or smaller. If the car seat comes with cushions like this one does, you'll want to look at the manual with the parent to see at what weight the cushions need to come out. It's usually about 10 to 12 pounds. So in placing baby in, I want to have as much slack as possible until we get used to this car seat. So when putting him in, I like to say crack to crack. So you want his butt crack all the way to this back crack of the car seat. This chest clip doesn't actually keep the baby in. All it does is position these straps over his collarbone so that he doesn't slip out. So it will be at nipple line once we're done strapping him down. How to strap him down, just go ahead and pull on this guy. And you actually need to strap him down a lot harder than you think you do. Some parents will be like, oh, you're choking him, and I'm like, no, I'm keeping him safe. If you can grab any of this webbing, he's too loose. This is about as tight as it needs to be. Sometimes I'll slip my fingers underneath just to make sure there's nothing poking him back here. But otherwise, we're at nipple line, he's nice and tight, there's no wiggle room. If his butt isn't all the way back and we're slouching down because this is too long, like I said, we can use a blanket roll between their legs. Now, if he does not have the infant padding and his head's lolling back and forth, you can put blanket rolls on the side of his head just to keep him midline. You don't want anything behind him that's not with the car seat, except his little shirt. And the reason for that is in a crash, everything compresses. So all of this tightening we just did, if we have a winter coat back there, if we have anything that'll compress, all of a sudden these are too loose and he'll pop right out. You can have things over him. You can put a blanket on him. You can have the pacifier, just nothing behind him. Now, it's perfectly within your practice to put the baby in and demonstrate how to do all of this. But definitely after that, take the baby out, hand him over to mom and dad, and have them do exactly the same thing. That way, they're still the last people to put the baby in the car seat and you've fulfilled your education requirement. Now that baby's all snugged up, you can go ahead and take him to the car. When you take your family down to their car for discharge, you're going to want to make sure that their base is installed correctly. Now, you don't install the base, and this isn't meant to teach you how to install a car seat, but you do need to know when a car seat is installed correctly and how to coach the parent to do it correctly. All right, so in this case, the car seat is being secured by the latch system, not the seat belt. Now, the first thing I do before I let them put the baby in the car seat is I hold the base down here and I give it a good tug. It shouldn't move more than an inch in any direction. And this guy's not going anywhere. This side, this can move. It's supposed to move because in case of a crash, the whole car seat's supposed to ride down the crash with the whole car. So now I've reinstalled this base using the seat belt. A common mistake I see is that families will try and get it as tight as they can, but then they don't lock the seatbelt, so this is going places, okay? To lock the seatbelt, all you have to do is pull the seatbelt out all the way, slowly, hand over hand, until you hear that click. Now, as I let go, you're going to hear a second type of click. That means the seatbelt's locked. And now we can tighten our seatbelt. Alright, now this car seat's not going anywhere. And we're locked in. The last thing you're going to want to check before you let your family leave is the angle of inclination. So you either want this red line to be level with the ground, or you want this nifty little lever here to be right in the middle. Sometimes babies are super heavy, and if you put your baby in, that level changes. So you're just going to want to tighten up the base a little bit more to get that angle back. Alright, so the other important thing that we really need to tell our parents is Maryland law, which says that any child under the age of 8 or less than 4'9" needs to be in a safety seat, whichever one fits them best, be it a infant car seat all the way up to a booster seat. The other thing they need to know is that their baby is safest by far in the back seat rear facing. Keep them rear facing as long as possible. Recommendations is 2 years, but I tell them keep them rear facing until they outgrow their car seat in the rear facing position. And finally, Don't forget your documentation. You want to document all of your car seat teaching, and then when you actually discharge the patient and walk them down, make a note in your discharge summary where the car seat was in the car if it was rear facing, and that the parent put the kid in the car seat, and then the parent also put the car seat in the car. Covers liability, covers you, and everyone's great. Thanks, guys.